After an arduous legal back and forth, Paramount and South Park have officially negotiated a streaming agreement just in time for the season 27 premiere. The deal is worth $1.5 billion, bringing South Park to Paramount Plus seemingly exclusively. And if you include Matt and Trey's new overall deal to produce the show, the combined contracts are worth over $2 billion. Insane. I've been covering this entire debacle step by step over on my other channel, Johnny 2 Casual, but with the new streaming deal finally going through, we can at least start to see what the future of South Park might look like. That includes future seasons, episode counts, where you'll be able to stream it. There is a lot to go over. And hey, remember, season 27 of South Park is about to start, and I'll be covering every episode here on the channel, so, like, subscribe, tune in on Thursdays for new episode coverage, you get it. Obviously, this entire saga has been pretty insane. First, there was the initial Warner Bros. V. Paramount lawsuit over the exclusivity breach, all because Paramount started producing South Park specials that seemingly conflicted with HBO Max's streaming contract.
Your son and his friends just made exclusive deals for multiple streaming services.
But more recently, the incoming regime at Paramount threw a huge wrench in a streaming contract negotiation that the South Park team had believed was already locked in. This led to a few things: the HBO Max contract being temporarily extended, the global Paramount Plus rights lapsing with the show disappearing from the platform internationally, and even South Park Studios starting the litigation process targeting Paramount's incoming regime. And though it doesn't seem that Matt and Trey's initial deal has been honored, South Park has seemed to have reached an agreement with Paramount, as reported by the LA Times. Paramount agreed to buy the global streaming rights for South Park to bring the show to the company's digital service Paramount Plus for the first time in the US, according to 3 people close to the negotiations who were not authorized to comment. The deal with Trey Parker and Matt Stone, through their Park County production company, values the global streaming rights at $300 million a year, according to 2 of the people close to the agreement, who could not discuss the matter publicly because the deal is not final. Okay, not gonna lie, the fact that the deal is not final and this is from anonymous sources close to the agreements still has me a little worried. It's possible this could be a negotiating tactic, leak the info to the press, gain leverage, etc., but obviously we know that they all want to come to an agreement before season 27 is meant to air, which as of the time I'm writing this is tomorrow. Matt and Trey had initially negotiated a 10-year contract, but honestly, understandably, Paramount opted to cut that in half, and the reason I don't really blame them is because I'm not convinced Paramount Plus will exist in 5 years. But for us as fans, there's another huge piece of info here that speaks to what we can expect for the future of South Park. It states that, as part of the deal, Park County agreed to produce 10 episodes a year. So, besides the massive price tag of $1.5 billion and the 5-year streaming deal, this is the most important headline here for fans. South Park is returning to 10-episode seasons for the first time in nearly 6 years, since season 23 pre-pandemic. Obviously, season 24 ended up becoming just 2 specials because of lockdown, but then the initial Paramount deal was struck, and that siphoned off typical episodes and turned them into exclusive South Park specials on Paramount Plus. This led to the standard seasons that aired on Comedy Central dropping to only 6 episodes apiece, something that South Park fans have not been happy about for the last 4 years. So now, it's looking as though South Park will return to producing 10-episode standard seasons instead of converting 4 of those episodes into a pair of hour-long specials for Paramount Plus. The return to 10 episodes a year will definitely make fans happy, getting back on a more standard release schedule and routine, instead of just having zero idea when the Paramount specials will release. That Not Suitable for Children special comes to mind. That thing basically shadow dropped. So the Paramount Plus specials appear to officially be a thing of the past, and I think unfortunately that this experiment has got to be seen as a bit of a failure, not only because they had to stop producing them as a result of their breach of exclusivity lawsuit with Warner Brothers, but because they never quite justified their existence in the first place, in my opinion. That deal initially was for 14 specials, 2 a year over 7 years, but ultimately they only delivered half of them. Post-COVID and Return of COVID, Streaming Wars 1 and 2, Joining the Panderverse, Not Suitable for Children, and The End of Obesity. I had always hoped that these specials would feel like bigger, scaled-up, ambitious stories, and I think they started out feeling that way. The post-COVID specials with the aged-up kids set in the future were really fun and clearly required a ton of work, designing older versions of every character, futurifying the world, etc. Those 2 felt huge and ambitious, but after that, they kind of just started to feel like supersized episodes of the show. I actually think now that this special era is over, I'll probably do a big retrospective video on all of them at some point over the next few weeks. But another important question here here is how much longer will South Park run for? Well, alongside this new streaming deal, Paramount and Park County has renegotiated Stone and Parker's overall deals as well. Another LA Times article outlined this. Paramount separately extended Stone and Parker's overall production deal for their firm, Park County. As part of that pact, Park County will receive a minimum of $250 million a year through 2030 to make at least 50 new South Park episodes, according to two people familiar with the deal but not authorized to speak publicly. So if you're keeping track, that means that not only is South Park garnering $300 million a year for their streaming rights, but $250 million a year for their production as well. Truly insane. Combined, the deals are actually worth more than $2 billion. Though, it also means that the last few years of their previous overall deal have been renegotiated and folded into this one, so a lot of this contract is money they were already set to earn. This means South Park has been renewed through season 31, set to expire in 2030. This is also only 2 additional seasons tacked on to their last deal, and honestly, based on how much the South Park brand has increased in value since the last deal, I think Paramount maybe would have been smarter to lock them down for longer. I mean, locking them down for 7 or 8 years instead of 5 at $250 million a year might look smart if they're worth $350 million a year next time around. The next most important thing for fans to know is about where they can watch the backlog and new season of South Park. Obviously, the show was streaming on HBO Max, and that deal even temporarily extended beyond its expiration in June, but it's looking increasingly likely that Paramount Plus will be the exclusive home of South Park. The article also stated, Paramount this spring offered HBO Max and its parent Warner Bros. Discovery an option to co-license the show, which would have given Kenny, Kyle, Stan, and Cartman a home on 2 streaming services, Paramount Plus and HBO Max. But over the weekend and on Monday, the talks with Warner Bros. Discovery collapsed, prompting Paramount to go it alone, according to one of the knowledgeable sources. So all that to say, if you're trying to stream South Park, you're likely going to have to shell out for Paramount Plus soon, and certainly if you want to be watching the new episodes next day. It's of course definitely possible that Matt and Trey negotiate another separate deal with another streaming service, but Paramount was pretty adamant during those negotiations that they maintain exclusive rights to the new episodes for at least a year. So if you want the South Park library and also want to stream the newest episodes the week they release, Paramount Plus is the move. As of the time I'm writing this, the show has not yet left HBO Max or returned to Paramount Plus, as I'm sure the T's and I's are being crossed and dotted on the contracts, but I expect that by the end of the week, things will be back up and running, especially with that new episode airing so soon, like within a day. The other big question here is going to be the bizarre list of new banned episodes that all disappeared from international Paramount Plus over the past handful of months. I made a video about these pretty recently and even managed to find a pretty clear reasoning behind these episodes being withheld, but just a few weeks ago, before South Park's Paramount Plus contract lapsed and the show disappeared entirely, most of those banned episodes actually magically reappeared on international libraries. I think this likely bodes well for what we can expect when the show hits Paramount Plus in the US. It's possible that it was part of Matt and Trey's negotiation that Paramount does not withhold these episodes, but I guess we'll have to wait and see until it's officially back up. I unfortunately expect that the 5 previously banned episodes, Super Best Friends, Cartoon Wars 1 and 2, and 200/201, will likely all still be withheld from the service, only available on good old physical media. Now honestly, this deal was struck just in time, not just because of the premiere of season 27, but because on Thursday, Matt Stone and Trey Parker will be making a live panel appearance at San Diego Comic-Con. If I'm being real, part of me really wanted to see the alternate timeline where the deal had not been reached yet and Matt and Trey unloaded their grievances in front of thousands of angry fans. Could have been really funny, but I'm sure we'll get at least some underhanded jabs during that panel, especially with everything being so fresh. But based on the title and episode description, I expect that the season 27 premiere is going to do a lot of the talking for them. It seems like it will immediately be taking jabs at Paramount. The episode is called The Sermon on the Mount, but if you look closely, there is an apostrophe before the M in Mount, and I think presuming this is Paramount is a pretty safe presumption. The description reads, "When the residents of South Park face their possible demise, Jesus returns to give them an important message." This is a funny first episode back after I had just recently made a video about Fantastic Easter Special, which was titled When Jesus Returned to South Park. But If you read between the lines here for this episode description, when the residents of South Park face their possible demise, I think this is heavily implying that the show's future was in jeopardy at Paramount, and that the story will be metatextually critical of their corporate overlords. I'm very curious if the episode aligns with any of the clips from the trailer we saw a few months ago. It's possible the demise they mentioned here is in reference to the fires seen in the trailer, itself a reference to the LA fires, but I think it's more likely that they cooked up a fresh episode so they could actually air their grievances about the entire Paramount debacle in their season premiere. Or maybe they rewrote and retrofitted the previous one to include more about the whole Paramount thing. There have actually been promo images out for a couple weeks of Jesus posing with the rest of the 4th grade class, so they've already been banking on him returning being a huge plot point. I'm really curious what role Jesus will play here. Will he be the one critical of Paramount? Will he be the one who's supporting Paramount? Will he be the Paramount surrogate? Will he just be trying to help a panicking town find peace in the fact that they might be doomed? I expect that they used him because they couldn't pass up the Sermon on the Mount pun. The Sermon on the Mount will be the first substantial appearance of Jesus since season 23's Christmas Snow, where he did some stuff with Randy and Santa Claus. Just stuff, nothing to see here. But I'm very curious about this new season of South Park. It seems like a lot of it was prepared far in advance, which is super unusual for this show, and it could make their more topical stories feel a little dated. But it's also possible that they've been going back and retrofitting and adjusting and writing new content to supplement what they had already created to make these episodes feel more timely and topical. The official art for the new season also features Mr. Garrison, and it's once again worth noting, this is just plain old teacher Mr. Garrison, not Garrison Trump. So this might suggest that Garrison will not be returning to the White House in the show this year, but we will certainly find out a lot of this incredibly soon. I am pretty eager to see how hard South Park goes after Paramount in the first episode back, how a longer-term deal for Matt and Trey might materialize now that the streaming deal is in place, and also just how excited the fans are that this is basically behind us now and we're going to be getting new episodes of South Park. We'll see. Make sure to stay tuned. I'll have coverage for the season 27 premiere up the day following its release, and that will be the case for every episode of season 27. Let me know below in the comments how you feel about the new contract, the future of South Park, and how excited you are for new episodes. Peace.
I stay mellow watching Johnny two cellos. He talks cartoons, he's a really cool fellow. He keeps you posted on adult cartoons. If that's what you're into, then grab a spoon and a very big bowl of your favorite cereal. Feels like Saturday morning cartoon material. Johnny two cellos, watch him on YouTube. Now enjoy this groove and bust a move.